Good evening, one and all, and welcome to this exclusive broadcast of Panther Hockey live on OCA Media, your home for Panther sports. I'm Zach Seeloff alongside Dan Graychuk, bringing you this exciting WIAA regional playoff matchup. Live from the Oregon Ice Arena, the Panthers host the Stoughton Vikings in a huge Badger Large Conference Challenge. Dan, great as always to be here with you.
Yeah, and it's adequate to be here with you as well.
It's been a while since Dan and I have been together on the mic for Oregon. We were here very early in the season, and now we're back for the playoffs. It is great to be here. Folks, OCA Media Sports Exclusive is made possible with the general support of our sponsors. They include the Village of Oregon, a great place to live, work, and play. The Oregon School District, actively building competency, character, culture, and community. The Oregon Athletic Booster Club, doing great things for all Panther sports. Your membership dues directly support our student athletes. Consider becoming a booster today. Oregon Area Cares Community Coalition. Parenting teens is hard, and we're here to help. OregonAreaCares.org. Wisco Industries, proud supporter of Panther sports, celebrating our 75th anniversary in 2024. And Culvers of Oregon, Stoughton Health, and your local pizza pit. So, Dan, Stoughton comes into this game the definite underdog. And you and I were talking before we got on the broadcast. 2-19-2 on the season, facing a Panther team that is 20-4. The Panthers are the one seed on this side of the bracket. They only bring 12 skaters and one goalie. They've got a tough mountain to climb, and yet, if you're Oregon, this is, I think in the NFL, you would call this a trap game, the sort of game where it's so easy to ignore your opponent, to say, you know, we've got the advantage here, and to take their foot off the gas, and Oregon's got to avoid that tendency to start off here.
Absolutely. Being the underdog is honestly always the best position to be in, because right now all the pressure and expectation is on Oregon. There isn't any expectation on Stoughton other than taking the ice. And, yeah, they've struggled this season. They have a very short roster. And I was talking to our incredibly capable camera operator before the game, and I was asked what would be my prediction for the game. And I said, pardon me, regular season game, I think this is one that Oregon can handily walk away with. Playoff game, completely different. All the pressure is on Oregon, and Stoughton can absolutely play the spoiler here, so Oregon cannot take it light.
I hear the ecstasy of gold playing through the PA system, so I think the teams are about to hit the ice in just a moment. Just before we get started on that, as we look at the Stoughton roster, they do have a couple of guys that can score, a couple of guys who have good seasons, led by Colton Vincent, 20 goals, 7 assists on the season. Ian Westerberg, 6 goals, 11 assists. Reese Nasis, 7 goals, 4 assists. So they've got players that can do some damage. They've got talent along this lineup. The key for them is going to be, how do they survive the first and second period with enough in the tank to get through the third?
That's really it, because when you got a short bench and players start to get more tired as they go, that means they're going to push back a little bit, which means there's going to be more pressure on the goaltender, which means they're going to have to move up and down a lot more side to side, which is going to definitely drain your goaltender's tank. And that's really where it becomes it's an endurance effort. But I don't want to say that this team has not got the ability to make this a very interesting contest.
So we go from the ecstasy of gold to Metallica. And we'll turn it over to the PA announcers as they get started. You're watching OCA Media's presentation of Panther Hockey. It's the Oregon hosting Stoughton in the WIAA Regional Tournament. Stay tuned. We're just about ready to get started here. Dan, we know what Oregon plans to do and what they're going to do, I think. If you're Stoughton, how do you start out the first 2 or 3 minutes of this period? How do you set a tone to try and get something going against a difficult Panther team?
I really think you have to take a defensive mindset. You have to pick and choose your opportunities because you don't want to gas yourself out right away in the first. Play more cautious, play a little bit more back. Make sure that your forwards aren't having to skate back and forth, back and forth. Be very, very disciplined.
We'll see if Stoughton can make that happen. Again, only 12 skaters on the bench for these Stoughton Vikings. They're going to have to work hard in this game. Only one goaltender. But they've got some talent, they've got some skill, and in the playoffs, anybody can have their day. A full senior lineup to start things off for the Panthers.
And obviously the biggest surprise is seeing Jakey in the game after the injury against Wanakee. Did not expect to see him, but there he is.
He starts off at the right wing position. The Panthers start off with the puck, and we are underway in this WIAA regional game as the Panthers enter the zone. It's Mason Anderson working up the right wing side, dumps it down, and we get started. Panthers trying to hold at the blue line. Nice work by Brock Buskagger. Bodies dumped behind and the puck into the far corner with 16:42 to go in this scoreless first period. Thanks for joining us here on OCA Media. Zach Seeloff and Dan Graychuk with the call for you as the Panthers looking to move on here in the WIAA playoffs. Stoughton with other ideas. Wind and a drive from Oregon. Loose puck in front, tapped towards the net. Still loose, it's still loose in front. Knocked towards the center post, but it's held by Buskagger. Boy, the Panthers had a great drive from Logan Leatherberry there. Couldn't force it in. Shot is saved once more. That time coming from Jakey, and now we get a whistle. And I believe the goalie lost his helmet. think that was a goalie equipment issue, so we will get a stoppage and a reset in play. No infraction on either team. 16-11 to go here in the scoreless first.
Yeah, now the clock should actually look right on screen because I'm having to work that, and that's something new.
Bear with us, folks, on the clock. We operate it manually here from a laptop right up here in the Crow's Nest. Face-off won by the Panthers in the Stoughton zone. Control at the point. Work it down the right wing edge. Beneath the net is Easton Lindert for Oregon. Puck is broken up, but the Panthers get it. Send it toward the middle. Boy, Dawson Peterson right there in the slot. Couldn't get a look at it, and now we have a score. Easton Lindert gathered it up a little bit higher in the slot. He's able to dribble it by, and the Panthers take an early 1-0 lead, and that's a difficult goal to give up for Stoughton.
It really was. There was a lot of commotion right there in the slot. The puck was going to be moving around, and he was just able to turn and get that shot, so that's exactly what they wanted to do, and that's the way it works well.
We'll listen for the PA announcer's goal on who got the goal and the assist. I believe it was Easton Lindert that sent it in. Here comes the call. Lindert unassisted, so an even strength goal for the Panthers, and that goal comes at 1:02 in the first period. Panthers back into the Stoughton zone once again. A shot from the point is nicely knocked away that time by Nate Wiednies, the goaltender for Stoughton. Panthers, though, come up with the loose puck in the person of Owen Tauschik. Behind the net, Tauschik continues to fight for it. Stoughton looks to whistle it clear. Great stop with the skate by Leatherberry. A shot in, and it is held cleanly by Wiednies.
Yeah, great work along the boards. Oregon's really dominating that so far. Stoughton's having a hard time getting it out of their end. I don't think it's been past the red line since the face-off after the goal. So, again, Stoughton's got to find a way to get it out.
Panthers leading 1-0, 15:20 to go in the first period. Puck is chopped out of midair right near the goalie's crease as Stoughton takes it out into center ice. Panthers deliver a big hit and got to be careful to keep those hands a little bit lower on that one. That was Brock Buskaiger delivering the shot. Vikings up off the glass and are able to get it into neutral ice and all the way down into Panther territory. McAlpine, the goaltender for the Panthers, will dump it back on the near boards. Puck loose in the center. They've got a chance here. Stoughton triggers a shot, and he's patted away that time by McAlpine. Bryce Nissus put that shot in. Up to the point, and Stoughton not able to grab it, and this one's going to come all the way down to their end with 14:40 to go in the first period. Panthers up 1-0 after the early unassisted goal from Easton Lindert. That one off an Oregon skate, so no icing as McAlpine decides to flick it down. Panthers control in their own zone. Buskaiger up the boards and into the center ice for Jakey, but the Vikings have it once more. Looking to make entry is their captain, Colton Vincent. 20 goals, 7 assists on the season for him. Panthers with it in their own zone. Put it back to the far boards. Buskaiger there. Big contact between him and Vincent. Panthers come up with the puck off the contact with 14:05 to play in the first. Jakey now through his own slot. Takes a step and picks up some speed along that left wing side. He's got help with him. Moves around. Mason Anderson in the center. Shot from Jakey and a score. Doesn't need to look for the pass. He takes it himself, makes the goal, and it's 2-0 Oregon.
Yeah, I had a feeling it wasn't going to take too long for him to make his presence felt. That was just a great carry through the neutral zone, into the zone, got in that nice area on that left wing. He's got such a deceptive and fast release. Again, it's great to see him back on the ice, and that's the kind of goal you expect to see from him.
Any of you younger players watching, I think when you're young and you're watching hockey, what you see a lot of times when you think of scoring is big slap shots. You think Alex Ovechkin from the spot just going down to a knee and whipping it. If you watch Andrew Jakey, almost never with a slapper, almost always with the wrister, because it confuses the goalie. It's harder to see, and the positioning on it is so much more accurate.
And he's got such a ridiculously deceptive and hard release. It's hard to read as a goaltender.
Karasek from center ice dumps it down beneath the net. Ethan Dish can't quite grab it. Panthers chase still in Vikings territory along the near side boards. 13:18 to play in the first period. Panthers up 2-0 now. Lindert and Jakey have done the damage. Shot pass just off the skate of Ethan Dish. He couldn't quite connect on the one-time attempt. Great little put in that time from Jack Klund from the point. Dish now with it beneath the net. Tries to feed it to center, but it's deflected to the near side. Even 13 minutes to go. 4 minutes gone here in this first period of the WIAA regional playoffs. The Panthers, the 1 seed, playing host to the Stoughton Vikings. as the Vikings work through center ice, and here they've got a little step, and moving forward is Rice Nisas. His shot goes a little bit wide. Vincent there tries to whip a low angle one, but it goes behind the net and rims all the way out into the neutral zone.
You got to give Stoughton some credit here because they're finding some openings and trying to generate some scoring chances. They're just not getting those second looks.
Vincent now, as his team gets a line change, swing and a miss, but sticks with the puck. Backhander over the back of the net. Vikings can't come up with the loose one. Now they've got it again, Pete Heineke. Near side of Oregon zone. Now they've got to look in the center. Shot and a save. McAlpine didn't cover the rebound. Westerberg had a good release there for the Vikings. And in fact, Oregon ices it down. We'll take a faceoff in the Panther zone.
That was a grade A scoring opportunity, and it was developed really by hard work along the boards, getting it in the corner and not giving up. So again, Oregon's got to keep a close eye on what they're doing there.
Faceoff will be on the near side of the Panther zone. 12:14 to play in the first period. 2-0 Oregon here at the WIAA Regional Playoffs. Faceoff won by the Vikings, trying to work around the linesman off of the dot. Vincent puts it down to the other side, trying to find Westerberg. Westerberg wins the foot race, but misses the puck. Instead, Cam Lupi sends it in. A backhander from the point. A second chance for McAlpine. He manages to get it. Boy, 2 rebounds that have not been cleanly handled by McAlpine here down in his own zone.
Yeah, and he wasn't getting a lot of help defensively up front either.
Vikings still have a shot at it, lose the chance there from the center point. The shot is blocked down, that time by Buskagger for Oregon. Panthers resetting in their own zone with 11:42 to play in the first. They're up 2-0. What a pass right onto the tape of Owen Tauschik. Dumps it into the zone as the Panthers try to get on some offense. Behind the net, fight for the puck in the corner. Vikings looking to work it up at the blue line, and now we have a whistle for a hand pass, and so we will take that one down to the Oregon zone for a face-off down there with 11:26 to play in the first period.
Yeah, I think he had his hand over it a little bit too long there, so not surprised we got to see that call on that, so yeah.
They'll take it just outside of the Viking zone into neutral territory. Face-off on the far side. In the dot for the Panthers is John McKenzie. Face-off win by the Vikings, and working ahead is Rice Nisas. From the center point, his shot does not get through, hassled by 3 different Panther defenders who are able to come up with the puck. Tauschik across, it's broken up by the Vikings, but quickly moved out by Oregon. Vikings send it back into the neutral zone as the Panthers reset, look to gain the blue line. Dish with an opportunity here on the near side. Shoved up against the wall, Panthers to the point. Vikings able to take it out, got a little bit of speed. Here's Nisas. Hassled again by 2 different Panthers. And we've seen that Nisas has some good speed, but he's not able to bring a lot of his teammates with him, having to go up solo.
Yeah, you need some help and support, especially against this Oregon team, so that's going to be critical for them.
10:40 to go as the Panthers control behind their own net. Nice pass up to the point from George Karasek, went a little bit wide, and the Vikings control in the neutral zone. Fancy footwork from Paxton Nelson as he enters on the right wing side, but it's poked away. Nelson with another opportunity. Bottom of the circle, shot and a blocker save that time from McAlpine. A nice job to direct that rebound away to the far wall. McAlpine stops it up behind the net, and he dishes over to his teammate Jack Klund. Reaching for that one was Dawson Peterson. Hand up and icing the call. Peterson could not quite settle it down, so we'll take it back to the Oregon zone.
Yeah, and it was just before the red line, so you get that icing. Going back to what you're saying as far as Stoughton getting good entry, they're just not getting those second looks. They're not getting those rebounds other than that one little scrum up front that McAlpine was able to keep out with his right pad. They're just not getting that secondary support.
Easton Linder wins the faceoff for the Panthers, and they drop it onto the near side wall. Peterson there. Cross ice pass is picked off that time by Westerberg of Stoughton. Panthers have it back again in their own zone. And once again, it'll be Peterson. Dumps the puck to the far corner. Chasing there is Rotier. Peterson and Rotier behind the net. Loose puck for Rotier, feed into the center. Linder can't quite get a hold of it, and skating the other way is Vincent. Cross ice pass to Westerberg, off his skate and a little bit strong. Vikings go for a change as the Panthers regroup. 9:38 to play in the first. Oregon up 2-0 here. Jakey and Linder have the scores, both unassisted. Behind the net for the Vikings in their own zone. Chasing is Gardner. Wrap back the other way, and this time it'll be Wenke of Stoughton out of the zone. Panthers collect to neutral ice. Moving forward, boy, a nice move by Mason there. Pass across. Here's Jakey. Feed to Mason and just can't quite connect. Mason Anderson nearly had the score there. A killer pass from Jakey, but just out of his reach. The feed to Jakey is broken up by the active stick of the goaltender, Vienas. Great play by the goalie there.
Yeah, and that's what you want to see coming out of there, too, is goaltender has good vision, keeping the stick in the lanes, break up that pass.
Panthers now across their own blue line and into Vikings territory. Touch, and so no ice is the call as the Vikings pick it up behind their own net. Up to the point, Karasek there for Oregon. Feed into the slot, can't quite turn on it. Puck's trapped in the feet, and now a step from the Vikings, and they've got an opportunity for a rush here. They'll dump and elect to get a change as they move forward. McAlpine stops it behind the net, leaves it for Karasek. Head pass for Tauschik is a little bit out of his reach, but he does get a stick blade on it. Vikings up toward their own bench. Angled off the boards, and Karasek there. Tauschik in center ice, moving through a couple of bodies, now swatted away and into the zone by Ian Westerberg of Stoughton. 8:14 to play in the first. Panthers with a 2-0 lead. Nice stick lift that time from Vincent. An attempted wind and a shot just does not quite go, and McAlpine will freeze it. And that's kind of what we're talking about. I think Westerberg felt some pressure, wanted to get a shot on, but if he could have taken just another second and wristed that one, he might have had a real opportunity there.
Yeah, there have been a couple times where they had more time than they thought, maybe double clutched after receiving the puck as opposed to looking for the one-timer. But right now, if you're Stoughton, you have to be happy with the way you've been playing so far through this period.
Panthers control the face-off, send it up towards their own point, work out of their defensive zone. Nice lead pass that time to John McKenzie. McKenzie, top of the far circle. Pass broken up and chopped away by the Vikings. Good hold at the blue line by Buskagger, sent back down beneath the Stoughton goal. Stoughton trying to find their way out, come along the near side this time. Instead, Panthers grab it. That time it's McKenzie once more. His pass does leak out of the zone, and Buskagger will retreat to his own blue line. Drop it off for Leatherberry, and back to Buskagger once more. Cross-ice pass is touched at the center line by Kingsley. Vikings have it. Try for a one-touch around the corner. Careful of the high stick there. I think that stick blade might have caught a face mask.
Yeah, that was close.
McAlpine, ever active out of that goal crease, has no difficulty playing the puck, does a nice job there, and gives the Panthers a chance to break forward. It's Desmond Kingsley pursuing into the far corner. 7:05 to play in the first period. Panthers up 2-0. Here's Easton Lindert. He had the first goal of the game for Oregon. Drops the puck off to Karasek. He tries a shot in. It's wide on the right side of the cage. Lindert there. He rifles another one in, wide left of the cage. Panthers painting the outside edges, but not able to put it on net.
No, and one thing to point out, I think McAlpine is playing the puck because they want to keep the clock running, and they don't want to give a chance for Stoughton to actually get a break in between. So I think that's a plan, that's a decision being made.
Trying to take advantage of that short bench for Stoughton, force them to stay out there longer, use more of those legs. Lindert with some fancy footwork up near the point, now center point and drops it off. Karasek, the defenseman for the Panthers, chips it further down the ice. Peterson gets back up. Now Karasek once more. Oh, there's Lindert. One-time shot. What a save. Just got that pad down. Lindert from the hash marks just rifled one in. Great stop by Vina. Second shot he saves with the shoulder. Now it's Dawson Peterson with it. Back towards the center point. Karasek rips one in off the top of the glove. Takes the glass. Another save from Venus, and the Vikings will clear this one out and just take the icing to get some tired skaters some new legs. What a job by the goaltender of Stoughton there.
Yeah, 3 huge saves. The shot from above the circles that had nothing but clear area to go in. Great leg save. Had to make that the next save off his shoulder and then off the tip of the glove. He's seeing the puck well, and that's really good for Stoughton.
Panthers win the faceoff. It's Mason Anderson to the faceoff dot on the far side. Finds Jakey underneath. Panthers looking to work a cycle from the hash mark. Shot is deflected, does not make it to the net with 5:39 to play. Jakey pursuing, delivers a little shot, now has a chance at the puck. Backhand toward the net, forehand and score. You cannot let Andrew Jakey operate below the faceoff dots for very long without him getting an opportunity. He buries a backhander, and it's 3-0 Oregon.
Yeah, you could see that develop just from, pardon me, a bad clear coming along those boards. Wasn't able to get it out. Jakey is able to find it, and he's going to bury that 8 out of 10 times.
Andrew Jakey with the score. It's unassisted once more, his second of the night. 5:30 to play in the first period of this WIAA regional match. Panthers offsides there, so we'll get another faceoff. Oregon in control of this game. And like you said, Stoughton has to be happy with how they're playing. They just don't have a good answer, I think, when the Panthers get into that cycle mode. They move the puck so well. They force your goalie to go side to side, and that's awfully hard for any team to deal with, let alone a team with a short bench.
It is, and Jakey's got such an accurate shot that that's always going to be hard to defend against. But, yeah, they have to be happy with how they're playing right now.
Panthers win the faceoff. Oregon dumps it into the Viking zone with 5:20 to play in the first period. Jakey pursuing. Vikings able to move it out. Handled along the near side boards. Flipped into center ice, but intercepted there by Leatherberry, who fires one in. Patted away by the blocker of Vinhas. Panthers beneath the net, and that one guns up in the safety netting. We'll take another face-off, this time on the far side of the Viking zone.
Yeah, Stoughton's got to find ways to get past Buskhager and Leatherberry. Those two are so great on defense. They do a great job of keeping everybody to manageable areas, those low percentage areas. They just have to find a way to work around that.
5:02 to play in the first period. Panthers up 3-0 on top of the Stoughton Vikings. Face off far side of the Viking zone. It's won by the Panthers. Loose puck at the blue line is held by Oregon. Boy, big collision. That's going hard after that puck was Miles Wenke of Stoughton. Karasek tries a backhander, tries a forehander. Loose puck is held by Vinhas. Boy, he didn't hold it cleanly in the air, but he dove right on top when it landed on the ice. Nice job.
Yeah, and a lot of time those refs are going to be looking at the body language of the goaltender. If the goaltender looks unsure of whether he has a puck, you're not going to hear that whistle very quick.
Vikings win the faceoff this time. Push it to the far side. Meinholtz able to tap it forward, but the Panthers now control. Oregon moving the other way. It's Jack Klun. Cross ice finds Peterson. Through center. Now to the left wing side. Peterson loses the puck. Vikings trying to one-hand it. Instead, it's picked up by Oregon down towards the low slot. Rotier drops it off for Lindert. Now Rotier again beneath the net. Rips one in front, backhand, and a score. Backdoor rather than backhand. Rotier finds Peterson. I think that's the first assist of the game, and it is 4-0 Oregon.
Yeah, you could see that play develop. You could see where they were looking to go as he worked his way to the left wing there and was just all alone. Great pass right in front of the goaltender. He's going to bury that, and that's so hard for a goaltender to read.
4-0 Oregon here with 4:19 to go in the first period. And despite Stoughton's best efforts, Panthers pouring it on. Rotier and Lindert both credited with assists on that play, so that's 1 goal, 1 assist for Lindert. Peterson, his 3rd goal of the season. And the Panthers in business, up 4-0 here in the first period with 3:58 to play. Mason Anderson trying to move through traffic. Vikings control. Nice little tap pass to Vincent. Top of the circle. Vincent tries a little backhand flipper, blockered away by McAlpine. All the way across ice, they find the point man. It's David Comstock. Tries to work it down low. Pete Heineke with a nice stick lift to keep it in the Panther zone, but Oregon controls with 3:35 to go. Little fancy footwork from Buskhager and then able to move it forward. Now here's Jakey on the left wing. He's got Anderson with him. Anderson to the slot. Jakey tries a shot. It's off the side of the cage and no good, but Anderson controls for Oregon. He'll drop that one off in transition to Jack Klun. Jakey, a shot from up high, no good. Trying another attempt was Owen Tauschik, and he goes down to the ice with 3:13 to play. Big hit up against the wall, but Anderson controls. Jakey takes a shoulder into the wall, continues to fight for it. Anderson tries the wraparound goal, nothing doing. And covering it up is Vinhas. Give credit to Nate Vinhas. He has been on it all night. He's getting peppered with shots. He's facing some of the most talented players on this side of the bracket, and he's just hanging in there.
Yeah, and honestly, that last save probably impresses me the most, and the reason is that puck was hung up between his pad and that post. It squirted out to the other side. He's able to track it, jump on it, get the whistle.
Trey Zerwick moves it to Jack Klun as the Panthers retreat toward their defensive side. Now come back the other way. Vikings intercept and briefly delay. Puck down into the Viking zone. John McKenzie giving it a look for Oregon. Puts it back the other way as it's chased by Rice Nisas. He turns it around for Stoughton, and Gardner moves it ahead. At the point, though, Zerwick stops it up. 4 Panther players on the scene against 3 Stoughton players, all locked up on the point. Can't get that puck off the boards. Now it breaks free. Nissus of the Vikings. Backhand pass. Stoughton tries to turn it the other way. Up the boards towards Weinke. Zurowick holds for the Panthers at the point. 2:08 to go in this first period. Panthers with a 4-0 lead as they get some new skaters on here. Still in the Vikings zone and now chasing it for Oregon is number 10 Dawson Peterson, who had that goal just a moment ago. Rotier, who had the assist for him, tries to work past the goalie along with, or try past the referee, excuse me, and there's Linder. Dawson beneath the net. Point man Zurowick takes a shot. Try the deflection, and it's just wide, hits the side of the net. Off the referee's skate, here's Linder, top of the circle. Drops it to the opposite point for Leatherberry. Gentle shot down as it's taken by Dawson Peterson. Minute 30 to go in the first period. Still 4-0 Oregon here in this WIAA regional playoff. Battling on both sides, the Panthers still have it. Move it up to Rotier. Point man Zurowick, he's had a lot of action on this shift. Nice shot block that time by Stoughton. Zurowick once again holds at the point. He has been a brick wall at that blue line. Finally goes for a well-deserved change. Attempted clear from the Vikings will result in an icing call. They knew that was coming, though. They just needed some fresh guys with 1:06 to go.
Yeah, and that was a long shift. They tried to get a change or two in there during that whole sequence. They just weren't able to get many. So, honestly, good icing to take. Get some fresh legs out there and get ready to finish out this period, hopefully only down 4-0.
How about Trey Zurowick on defense? He hasn't gotten as much playing time as some other guys this year. Here's Jakey real quick, trying to drop it down low. But Zurowick at that left defense position, great at the point. Down deep for the Panthers, 55 seconds to go as we will get the whistle for icing. We'll do it all again on the far side of the Viking zone.
Yeah, no, he has been great on that point. He was just locking everything in, making sure nothing was getting through. And that's really what built up that pressure through that whole sequence.
Face-off in the Viking zone. Mason Anderson taking this one for the Panthers. Tries to work it through traffic, but the Vikings come up with it and flip it forward into the Panthers zone. Leatherberry strides for it. He's got it on his own near wall. Rifles across ice pass and connects with Tauschik. He tries to find Jakey out of his reach. Puck down into the low wall. Anderson there on the near side. 35 seconds to play. Panthers up 4-0 here in this first period. Now here's Anderson. Stick handling, works down into the corner. Vikings put it past him. Panthers lean in his shoulder as the battle continues on the right wing side. Nearly stopped by Leatherberry, but Vincent able to force through. It's a 2-on-1. Vincent across. The shot coming. Save from McAlpine. Ian Westerberg tried to put it between the glove and the pad. Nothing doing as Nate McAlpine turns it away.
Yeah, he got a great look there. That was kind of the play that Stoughton wanted to try and see. They were able to get it, but McAlpine had to come out and make that save. You don't want to give up a goal late in a period. 2-on-1
break for Stoughton. A nice opportunity, but not able to convert thanks to the solid goaltending of Nate McAlpine. 12 seconds to play. Panthers win the faceoff, take it behind their own net, and there's Leatherberry. He's going to try and just hold this one to the end. Panthers chip it over to the side, and this will do it for the first period. It is 4-0 Oregon as we head to the intermission. And Dan, Stoughton at times really was able to bottle up Oregon, as in keep them from getting to the clean areas of the ice and take the big shots that they wanted. But they were never able to set up zone time. They had real difficulty evicting Oregon from their own zone, and they took some long shifts in that first period.
They really did, but the truth of the matter is Stoughton's still in this. You can't right now take this score for granted. And one of the things that I saw that I guess if I was a coach I'd be a little unhappy with, I believe it was Buskager who kind of lazily skated in front of his own goaltender, kind of holding it. That's not the kind of play you want to see in any type of playoff game, because it's when situations like that, the mistakes can be made. Oregon has to realize that even though they're up by 4, they've still got 2 periods to go and anything's possible. Stoughton, on the other hand, has to look at finding ways to make more time and space so they're able to get some more quality shots and, more importantly, traffic in front of McAlpine, as well as getting some rebounds.
Folks, OCA Media reaches thousands of viewers with programs like this. Consider joining our fine group of local business sponsors. For more information, head to our website, ocamedia.com. We'll be back with the start of the second period in just a few minutes. You're watching Panther Hockey on OCA Media, your home for Panther sports.
took you so long? Oh, so cold.
Welcome back, everyone, to the start of the second period of today's WIAA regional playoff match between the Oregon Panthers and the Stoughton Vikings, brought to you by OCA Media, your home for Panther sports. I'm Zach Seeloff alongside Dan Graychuk. And Dan, 4 goals for the Panthers in the first period. They looked comfortable out there is the word I would use.
Yeah, they really did, and obviously Jakey is playing well. He doesn't seem to be having any issues with the lower body injury that he had against Wanakee, so it's great to see him out. Also, one thing I really like to see, he was passing the puck a lot more than I've seen before, and that's got to be something that the rest of the team is going to benefit from.
Absolutely. Andrew Jakey, a great skater, a great shooter, just a real talent out there, and if he can dish it, if he can distribute it, it's one more weapon in Oregon's already full arsenal.
Yeah, and we had talked before and after the last game we had done. The concern you have when you have a player like Jakey, who, again, was supposed to play out east his senior year in juniors, decided to finish out his senior year here in Oregon, which I think was a smart and mature decision to make, and then ended up signing a letter of intent with Iowa State, which was great to see. But the concern was, if it's all focused on one player, what happens if something happens to him? And we saw what happened against Wanakee, and I got to tell you, and I really hadn't said anything to you about this, it was so impressive. That game where he got injured, they were down 2-0. Immediately after, they were down 3-0, even though they were on a 5-minute major. And after that moment, Oregon they clicked. You got to see the heart and the grit and the character of that team, which is something I think that Larry Clemens would be very, very happy with. And for me, I was going to ask Coach before the game, who stood up in the locker room or on the bench and said, hey, this is what we got to do, because it was like somebody flipped a switch. Very impressive to see, but they can't just rest on that. They need to keep looking at this game now, the next 17 minutes, and not underestimate Stoughton.
You and I were talking before the game about the incredible hockey film Miracle, about the 1980 U.S. Olympic team, and how Herb Brooks in a famous scene flips a table over to try and get the boys motivated. I doubt that's what happened in Larry Clemens' locker room. He's got a bit different style from Herb Brooks. But just the same, you make an excellent point, which is that any team benefits from a player like Andrew Jakey. But the question is, what's the composition of your team otherwise? What do you have on that bench and on that roster card when Jakey's not there? And what we saw, no matter who it was, whether it was one of the players, one of the coaches, or some combination thereof, we saw real leadership from Oregon in that game. And that is huge. That's what you need in the tough moments when things are going against you, that any team that wins a championship is going to have to face.
Yeah, skill is one thing to have, and everybody wants that on their team. But the one intangible is character. And I think that game that ended up, I think, a 10-6 score. So they're down 3-0, lose their best player with an unknown injury that honestly could have been the rest of the season, and I'm glad it didn't. But the character of that team and the heart of the team started to show. And I think it was probably when we saw Leatherberry and Buskogger really step up their game on defense. And again, it was literally like somebody turned a switch. So that's the kind of character you want to see from a team. And let's face it, there's a lot of expectations for this team to make another deep run. And I think they have that capability given the maturity and the discipline we saw, because they didn't take a lot more penalties in that Wanakee game, and it could have gotten out of hand.
Last season, a very exciting season for the Panthers. You and I have been watching and commentating on them since 2015, so the last 8 or 9 years now. And especially in those early years, we saw some teams that had some really, really great talent. Lucas Hefty headlined when we started. Seen so many other great players over the years come through Oregon, but they could never quite put it all together. Last year, the first year they made it to the state tournament, they made it to the state championship. They played incredibly well throughout the whole season, and like you said, they've got to want to get back there.
Yo, absolutely. They lost a lot of seniors last year, so this is a good roster for them. And like I say, the expectations are them to go deep, And if they keep playing with the kind of heart and character, I think they're going to.
We're going to get started here with the second period. 17 minutes to play as we get the initial faceoff. Panthers control in their own defensive zone. They lead 4-0 here in this WIAA regional playoff against the Stoughton Vikings. Buskagger with the puck, looks for the long stretch pass, finds Jakey, and now Jakey's got Anderson in a 2-on-1. Jakey fires, and it is off the bottom of the glove of the goaltender Venus. Tries to drop the puck, but it's the Vikings that come up with it in their own zone. Boy, the Panthers nearly had a hat trick for Jakey there.
Yeah, and I think Jakey was really thinking he was going to bury that one. That's a spot you don't want to let him come in on.
Bad giveaway from Stoughton just underneath, but Mason Anderson can't quite push it past. Venus stands tall.
Yeah, again, another great save. He has been doing a remarkable job of keeping the Vikings in this game. And again, he's looking really sharp, even though he's having to face a ton of shots.
Oregon taps that one in. They'll go for a change with 16:09 to play in the second. They're up 4-0 here in this WIAA regional playoff. Vincent in his own zone, pushed up against the boards, and the Panthers control. Try to drop it in down low, looking for the wraparound is Jakey. It's not there. Nice job by the referee to leap over the puck. Jakey going on a tour of the Vikings zone here. Now to the outside edge. Rips it into the center, but it's out of reach. Karasek there for the defense. Drops it back to Jakey. Now Karasek once more. Leaves it for Anderson. And we've got a delayed penalty coming. This is going to go against Karasek. Elbowing is the call. Looked unintentional, just as he was trying to get the stick up and over, brought that elbow up, and so it'll be a minor penalty and the first real opportunity for Stoughton here as they get a 2-minute power play.
Yeah, and again, you never want to see an offensive zone penalty taken, but I don't think that was intentional. It was just the way the puck was moving and bodies along the boards. But this is a great opportunity for Stoughton. Again, you're down by 4, but all you really want to do is get 1. That's the goal. You can't score 4 all at once. So this is a great opportunity for them to generate some pressure.
Face off in the Panthers zone near side. Oregon wins that one. Tapped along, and now rushing forward are the Panthers. It's Andrew Yachman. Yachman to the face-off dot. He'll stop up and just try and delay. Battle behind the net as it's picked up that time by Heineke. Vikings looking to go on the rush here. Pass across to Jolseth, can't be settled down. At the blue line, Panthers hassling. Now here's Heineke once more. Tries to wrap it forward to Winky, but the Panthers have control. Leatherberry will just settle it down and then rifle it down. 15:09 to go in this period.
Stoughton's just having a hard time connecting on some of their passes and some of their clearing attempts.
I believe this penalty will end at 13:49.
I just want
13:41.
I want to be clear. I'm not working that scoreboard, so that's not on me that they didn't start that up.
No, the penalty will end at 13:41. There is 14:58 to go, so just over a minute on the power play left for the Vikings. Face off in their zone after it's frozen by Venus.
Yeah, to what I was saying, it's just looking like Stoughton's a little bit on their heels as far as getting good clears, getting the right passes. They're just rushing a little bit more than they want to be.
Now we have the penalty clock set right. 1:17 to go on the power play for the Vikings as they try and get out of their own zone. Control the puck defensively. Stop up and look for the play is Cam Lubke. In his own far corner, hassled, puts it forward, able to find Westerberg. Westerberg now has a 3-on-3 rush. Nice job by Leatherberry to step in front. Turning the other way is Mason Anderson with Isaac Rotier. Anderson to the bottom of the circle. Pushed all the way to the back wall. 14:34 to go in the period. 52 seconds left on the power play. 4-0 Oregon in this WIAA regional game against Stoughton. The Vikings coming the other way on the power play. A shot is blocked by Leatherberry. Doesn't let it through. Feed into the center. Save from McAlpine, and he just got the bottom of the blocker down in time. It was a light tap from Westerberg, but it was headed to the back of the net, and McAlpine able to stop it.
Yeah, that one didn't have a lot on it, and honestly, being in net when you see that puck just fluttering towards an opening, he was able to get that blocker down. He was in a weird position, but great save.
39 seconds on the power play, 14:20 in the second period. Panthers up 4-0 as the Vikings win the faceoff. Puck on that far wall. Trying to grab it is Stoughton. Work towards center, loose puck, and now they have it again. Shot by Weineke, easily blockered away by McAlpine. Linder for Oregon. Sends it the other way for Leatherberry, the alternate captain. Leatherberry's angled pass for Jakey is too strong. Lubke with it for Stoughton. Into center ice. One touch goes wide, and now Jakey's going to have a chance. He's got Lindert on a 2-on-2. Jakey to the faceoff dot. A shot is just wide. Lindert there on the back door, but couldn't lay the lumber on. Striding is Westerberg as he tries to push into the zone. Nothing doing, and taken by Buskagger. Both teams are full strength as the penalty expires. We're back to 5-on-5 play. The Panthers kill it off successfully, and it's still 4-0 Oregon here in the second period. Turning the other way, though, are the Vikings. They'll dump that one in, try to get some skaters changed as they look to get an offensive push going. Tapped up the boards towards Miles Winkie. He can't hold it, and turning forward is John McKenzie. His pass across broken up by Stoughton. In center ice, the Panthers push it forward. Here's Lindert with a breakaway. Lindert down low, tries to get it forward, and it comes off his tape and is gloved down by Venus.
I think he tried to make that one extra move to the other side, and it just rolled on him. And Venus was able to again, track it well and get the cover. One thing, we've been doing this for a long time. Nothing annoys me more than when you say easy save. No such thing as an easy save.
Wow, and there is a very challenging looking save as Venus heads it into the safety netting. Caught that off the top of the mask and put it into the net behind the wall.
There's high percentage saves. No such thing as an easy save.
There you go. 13:05 to play in the second. 4-0 Oregon here at the WIAA Regional Playoffs. Panthers win the faceoff. Try a rifled shot in, but it's blocked by Miles Winkie of Stoughton. Collision up against that near wall as both teams battle for the puck. Loose towards center. Stoughton there. Cam Lupke taps it out into center ice, and it's Buskagger for the Panthers. Leatherberry now looking to set up. Yachman with some speed on the left wing side. Tries to dangle it through the skates of Lupke. Nothing doing. Vikings off the wall, intercepted by McKenzie of Oregon. Yachman with it again. Down to McKenzie once more. McKenzie at the faceoff dot. Finds the open man. It's Leatherberry at the point. Leatherberry rifles a shot in. Loose puck is stopped and frozen down by Venus.
Yeah, that was, again, a great look, and that right point was wide open. Move that puck over and take that shot, because if nothing else, we're seeing the Venus has given up some rebounds there, and there's an opportunity to try and bank one in. But right now, Stoughton is playing a game I think they like right now, really keeping the high-scoring chances at a minimum.
12:23 to play in the second period. Quick shot from the Panthers is somehow stopped. I do not know how Venus even saw that one, but he makes the save. Oregon controls in their own zone. Move it forward, it's Mason Anderson on the right wing side. Anderson's got speed, and he moves around behind the net. Drifting in is Jakey, but Anderson can't find the puck off the wall. Panthers trying to force it down low. Jakey in the corner. Anderson against the wall. Big contact, and now we have a penalty coming up.
Yeah, that's going to be either...
I didn't see the signal.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a boarding or a cross-check, and I think that's what they're discussing right now.
It goes against Stoughton, so the Panthers will be on the power play here. Let's get the call from the referee. Cross-checking. So 2 minutes for cross-checking. I believe it was number 16. That's Aiden Comstock.
That was a bad penalty to take, and right now this really takes a lot of what Stoughton is built on in this period and kind of puts it at risk.
Panthers win the faceoff. Looking to work their way around. Linder takes a shot, and it's deflected up and into the safety netting. I am not sure if that went off an Oregon stick or not. I think it may have. Either way, it goes too high and out of play, and we'll face off again.
Yeah, I think it went off a Leatherberry stick. He was looking for that deflection, and he just popped it straight up. But, again, they're getting good movement, getting good looks.
Face-off won by the Panthers. Here's Jakey at the point. Panthers on the power play for another minute 40. Rip one down. Quick second chance, and it's in. That one was sent towards the net by Owen Tauschik and gathered up by Logan Leatherberry to put away. The power play goal for the Panthers makes it 5-0.
Yeah, great pass. Again, you get the defense moving east to west, then try to move it north and south, and they're able to get it down there. And Venus is really going to have a hard time with that one because there was just so much going on in front of them. That was just a great power play look by the Panthers. So, again, the Panthers can be happy with that, but that's really got to hurt Stoughton right now. Easton
Linder picks up another assist, along with Tauschik. Leatherberry credited with the goal. It's Leatherberry's 4th of the season. Lindert now has 2 assists and a goal on the night, 3 points for him, really contributing on offense.
Yeah, and one of the things, too, we're seeing it really spread out amongst a lot of different players as far as how they're moving the puck, who's getting it, who's taking the shots, and it's been very balanced for Oregon.
Panthers control off the faceoff. Loose puck comes in front of the benches. Lots of contact as both teams fight for it. Leatherberry on the far side. Moves the pass across to Kingsley. They enter the Stoughton zone. Kingsley loses track of it, but the Panthers control at the near side. It's Rotier. Rotier towards the center. Able to find Klun. Klun takes a shot. It goes high and takes the glass. Buskogger a shot, and that hits his own man. Desmond Kingsley didn't expect to see that one coming at him. And here comes Stoughton the other way. They've got some speed. Take a shot from up top of the circle. It was Aiden Comstock. Nice pad save from McAlpine. 10:36 to play in the second period. Panthers lead 5-0 now in this WIAA regional playoff. Thanks so much for joining us on OCA Media. Visit us at ocamedia.com and on YouTube. Search OCA Media. High shot is up into the netting. We'll get another face-off here with 10:24 to play in the second.
Yeah, I don't think that Nisus realized how much time he had there and was just looking to take a shot. He had a few more steps to take, but right now they're trying to just get pucks on net. Good things happen, but they do have more time than they think they do.
Vincent in the face-off dot against McKenzie. Vincent wins it. Wind and a drive from the center point, and it's easily stopped down by McAlpine. Folks, OCA Media is your local source for information and entertainment. Hundreds of programs are produced each year by OCA Media. We are your community access television station based right here in Oregon. McKenzie taking on Vincent. Face-off won by the Vikings. At the point, they can't hold it, have to turn it around. Lubke tries to send it in, it deflects, and now the Panthers have a chance at a 3-on-2. Yachman back towards the center. Gathered by the Vikings, turned the other way with 10:08 to play. Up the right wing edge as Stoughton tries to go on the attack. Instead, here's Yachman once more for Oregon up the left wing side. Yachman around his man, tries to get a fancy dangle going. Nice job by Lubke to stick with it and not allow him past. Panthers still controlling the offensive zone. Now up towards the point. Panthers put it back down low beneath the net. Turning on it is Lubke for the Vikings. He's able to get that one out, and George Karasek will stride after it. No icing is the call. Karasek with 9:35 to go in his own zone. Around one man, around a second, and ahead to McKenzie. McKenzie backhands it in. Jakey will give chase. New skaters for Oregon as they pursue into the far corner. Lubke behind his own net for Stoughton. Jakey hassling him in towards the center. Skated away by, oh boy, big collision there, and we have a penalty coming up. I think this is going to go against Jakey. Here's the Vikings, a shot. Blocker save from McAlpine. The Vikings have not yet pulled their goalie, but it does not matter. We get the whistle. Don't yet see a signal. I believe Jakey, the guilty party, he heads. It's tripping against Andrew Jakey. And now Stoughton with their second power play opportunity of the night. They did not score on the first.
Yeah, and that's, again, you want to try to avoid offensive zone penalties. But this gives Stoughton, again, another chance to try and find a way to get a good amount of pressure where they can generate some traffic and look for some rebounds.
Vincent in the face-off dot for the Vikings. They do win it. Comstock at the center point. His shot is blocked. Nice job to play it down with the hand. Oregon, though, able to clear. Minute 50 to go on the power play. 8:57 to go in the second period. 5-0 Oregon here at this WIAA regional playoff game. The Vikings coming out of their own zone. Westerberg with some speed around one man, hassled on the second end, keeps it going and able to get it into the zone to Colin Meinholtz, but turned right around by the Panthers. Vikings again. Go ahead, Dan.
I was just going to say Meinholtz kind of missed a read there. He had the angle on it, and instead he kind of let him go off it and decided to slow down. You got to find a way to spread out Oregon's D.
Vikings tap it forward. Drop back that time for Westerberg. At the blue line, and we are offsides. We'll take a face-off in the neutral ice. Minute 13 to go on the power play, 8 minutes 20 to go in the second period.
Yeah, they're just a half step behind. You can see a little bit, I don't want to say it's frustration, but just a little bit of we're missing some opportunities. And they're really doing well here considering the short bench. They should be happy so far with their play.
Panthers still on the penalty kill. They control this puck. It's Brock Buskagger in his own zone. Now he'll send this one down. Cam Lubke tries to tap it out of the air. Can't stop it. All the way back behind the net. Rotier fighting for it for Oregon. Here's Lubke once more for Stoughton. The captain of the Vikings looking to get his team set up. Nice pass forward to Pete Heineke. Heineke's got a look. Shot is blocked right in center ice. What a nice job to get the legs together. I believe that was Brock Buskagger. Mason Anderson now coming in down low. Power forward move, and he gets pushed down from behind. Hand is up. And that's going to be a penalty against Stoughton. Hooking is the call. And so we will go 4-on-4 for 36 seconds and then a minute 24 of an Oregon power play.
And I don't know honestly what's worse for Stoughton, 4-on-4 or the power play, because when they're 4-on-4, Oregon has so much speed, creativity. They're finding those open areas of the ice. So this is one of those where if, and correct me if I'm wrong, if Oregon scores before the end of this power play, they get a minute and a half or so of a power play when their other penalty ends.
I believe that's right. At any rate, here comes the 4-on-4 push, this time from Westerberg. Westerberg, backhand shot and nearly got it by. A stick save by McAlpine does just intervene at the last second. Panthers 4-on-4, and here's now Mason Anderson. Top of the circle, round his man. Bottom of the circle, can't work it around. Wraparound not there, and he looks to move up towards the point. Cross to Lindard, who's got a goal and 2 assists. A back, oh my goodness. A backdoor tap that goes just wide. Lindard now drops it down low for Leatherberry. Give and go, but Lindard can't pick it up on the pass. 7:07 to play in this game. We're now on the Oregon power play as Jakey comes out of the box, and he'll just head right to the ice for a duty shift. And now we get a whistle. Interference is the call. And that looked like it was happening at the benches while we were changing, and that goes against Mason Anderson. So now we've got a minute 16 of 4-on-4, followed by 44 seconds of a Stoughton power play.
Yeah, I think it was just the speed of Stoughton coming out of that zone that kind of caught up the Panthers, where they just kind of got caught up in that interference call. But that's just great work by the Vikings.
Well, we'll play some 4-on-4 for another minute 16. 6:58 to play in the second period. Still 5-0 Panthers, as we're even strength at 4-on-4 here. Vikings control in their defensive zone. Missed pass, but gathered back up by Aiden Comstock. Now his long pass is picked up by George Karasek. He's got 3 men with him. Over to Yachman on the right wing. Yachman trying to fight through. Vikings high off the glass. Karasek there at the point, but pushed out that time by Miles Wenke. Yachman now on the left wing side. Taps into center. One-time shot. What a rip from Oregon Panther Ethan Dish, but a great save from Nate Venus of Stoughton. Panthers want to turn it around a second time. Move around one man. Jack Klun's shot is saved by Venus once again. Linder taps it down to the corner. Puck comes up towards the point, winding and swinging. That time was John McKenzie, not really connecting. Bit of a paintbrush, and Stoughton into neutral ice. 6:05 to go in the period. 20 seconds left on the 4-on-4. Then the Panthers will be on the power play. A long shot from George Karasek is frozen down by Nate Venus.
Yeah, and I think you can really start to see the fatigue setting in on the Vikings right now. They don't have the same step coming out of their zone, which again, with a short bench, this is the time in the game where that really starts to take its toll. But Venus is just playing ridiculously well considering the number of saves he's had to make.
Face-off won by the Vikings in their own zone. Up off the glass for Westerberg. Poked back in by Oregon. Here comes Linder. Lindard has it stripped off his stick by Lubke of Stoughton. Leatherberry for Oregon in center ice. He's around a couple of skaters, and he fires one in, gloved away by Nate Venus. Penalty expires for Stoughton. They're on the 5-on-4 power play for 40 seconds. 5:38 to go in this second period. 5-0 Oregon in the WIAA regional playoffs. Leatherberry drives it down. Now on the penalty kill. No icing against Oregon. Lubke back behind his own net. Turns it around up the near side. Letting it go is Westerberg. And here comes Stoughton. Vincent, collision with Leatherberry, lays the shoulder in and delivers a big counter check against a big man in Logan Leatherberry. Comstock across the blue line, loses the puck. It's Buskagger for Oregon. 7 seconds left on the Oregon penalty kill. They'll rifle one high. Nice job by Lubke to glove it down. 1 second to go, and now both teams are full strength as we're back to 5-on-5 hockey after some overlapping minor penalties. 4:52 to play in the second period. 5-0 Oregon, and here comes Buskagger. He's got a stretch pass for Lindard. It's 2-on-1. Anderson with Jakey. Anderson to the front, swept away by Venus. A great active stick once more. We've seen that a couple times from him tonight. Big contact behind the play with Jakey as Stoughton tries to move it ahead. Hand is up for icing, and that'll be the call. 4:32 to go, and boy, quite a bit of contact back there in that far corner.
Yeah, there really was, and watching that 2-on-1 develop and getting that pass over, Venus was able to move it, but what was really impressive was to see Jakey retrieve that puck and look to try and center it again, and then you started to see the contact in deep.
Vikings win the faceoff up towards the point. Panthers hold it there, continue in Stoughton's zone. Jakey beneath the net for Oregon. Oh, a quick shot in from Mason Anderson, and going to the ice is Venus. Anderson ends up on top of him. Venus loses his helmet. And we'll take another faceoff down there.
Yeah, I think that's the second or third time he's actually lost his helmet in the game, but he's just having to move all around. I gotta say, just how sharp he looks. He looks sharper now than he did in the beginning of the game, and usually goaltenders will find a rhythm, but fatigue kind of sets in, but he looks as fresh as when the game started.
Venus gave up 4 goals in the first period, only 1 goal here in the second. 4:21 to go in this second period with the Panthers up 5-0. Last substitution from Stoughton, and yeah, you can just see with the body language, starting to get tired. You and I were talking, you and I play beer league and rec league hockey. Skating with 12 skaters in a rec league game is awfully hard. Skating in a high school playoff game, extremely hard, and that's going to get a call. Hand is up, delayed penalty coming for the Panthers. As McAlpine heads to the net, they'll get the extra attacker. Here's Mason Anderson, hash marks. His shot goes high and takes the glass. The Vikings will be able to touch up here, and there's a late shot from number 16, Owen Tauschik. The linesman wisely steps in to prevent any further pushing and shoving. Going to the box is number 3 for roughing. That is Reese Nissus. And so another Panther power play coming up here.
I got to be honest, I'm not a fan of that call. I thought they were actually going to call it interference. I don't think he did anything to justify the roughing call. I can see why the ref maybe wants to call it, but this gives Oregon another chance on the power play.
Panthers with a chance on the power play. 2 quick shots go by, one into Nissus, the other goes wide of the net. Now controlling is Dawson Peterson. He steps towards the bottom of the circle. His shot deflects. It's on top of the net and now ends up behind it, but he stops it right behind the cage. Rotier there at the far corner. Back to Peterson. Thought about the wraparound. Instead takes it up to the point. Jack Klun has it there. Cross to Buskogger. His shot tries to deflect from Karasek. What a save by the defense of the Stoughton Vikings. There was wide open net there. Klun a shot and a score. And even as the net moves off the moorings, that was a clean goal, a power play tally for Jack Klun. That's his second goal of the season, and it makes it 6-0 Oregon.
Yeah, and honestly, what took that net off the mooring was Venus seeing it, trying to get up and into it, but was so deep into the crease that he caught the crossbar and lifted it up. And he's stretching a little bit. I wonder if he's feeling okay, because he looks like he's a little bit uncomfortable at the moment.
Favoring that left side a little bit, like his lower abdominals or obliques, and indeed the refs are going to go check on him because he does look like he's in a bit of pain there.
Yeah, just because, again, I think as he pushed himself up into that crossbar, those nets are heavy. I don't think people who haven't played hockey knows just how heavy they are, and definitely could have made a muscle kind of cramp up a bit. So obviously it looks like he's okay. He's just trying to stretch. But that's something you never want to see your goaltender have to deal with.
No, and he's been so strong tonight, and particularly in this second period. Hopefully this doesn't limit him. Face-off controlled by Stoughton with 3:30 to play in the game. They trail 6-0 in this WIAA regional playoff. Easton Lindard coming forward on the right wing side. Drops it off, and he'll have to come back onside. Here's Isaac Rotier. Rotier gets around one man, but not a second. Lindard controls at the point. Whips it down, finds Rotier again. There's Peterson on the back door. Rotier works his way around. He'll put it up to the point for Buskagger. He sends a shot in. The deflection is right on target from Lindard, but saved by Venus. Up to the point for Leatherberry. Leatherberry fires a shot in. That's deflected off the defensive stick and sent high into the glass. Stretch pass comes too strong, and Leatherberry finds it. His pass in, though, does not make a touch, and it will go for icing. No contact with his own teammate, so we'll head to the Oregon zone for a faceoff with 2:44 to play as the off-ice officials have not realized that a whistle has come. Clock continuing to run.
I'm sure they'll figure, oh, wait, running time.
Oh, I thought it was 7, but maybe it's 6. You're right. Maybe we are on running time now with 6 goals. So We go to a running clock with the 6-goal lead for the Panthers, 2:25 and counting in this second period. 6-0 Oregon in the WIAA regional playoffs. Behind the net, it's Mason Anderson for the Panthers. Pass forward, cross ice to Jakey. Nice job by the Vikings to knock it back toward the blue line of Oregon. Leatherberry for the Panthers. There's Mason Anderson. High and out of play, and a bit of a misdirect from Aiden Comstock. Wanted to put it off glass, but there is no glass there. Out of play, and we'll take a face-off.
Yeah, and you know, one thing it's always important to keep in mind, this is, for some seniors in Stoughton, this is their last game as a senior. And I would have to say they should hold their heads up high because they have played an amazing game.
And we have a Viking down. In fact, slow to get up was number 3, Nissus. Battle in front of the net here. Trying to get it was Vinhas. It's loose in his crease, and he does find it to dive on top. Huge credit to Vinhas there. A net mouse scramble, and then a loose puck that is just dangling in the crease. He's able to get it, but number 3, Rice Nissus was struggling. Number 1, Nate Vinhas, the goalie, was struggling. And this is unfortunately what happens when you have to play so much in a game, as injuries can pile up.
Yeah, especially in the defensive end where you're always falling back and you have a lot more movement. That's why killing penalties is so tough, because if you don't get that face-off, you don't get to change. And it is physically exhausting to be in your end for a very long period of time.
We're going to send Vincent out of the dot, put Pete Heineke in for the Vikings, and Heineke does win that faceoff, rims it around to the near side. It's not quite intercepted by Yachman, but held by Buskagger. He fires a shot and he scores. I think he got just a bit of a defensive redirect there. It went over the top of the catching glove of Vinhas. I think it might have caught a defensive stick and redirected on him.
Yeah, really hard to say. From where I was sitting, it didn't look like it changed direction much. I think it was just a surprising release and shot. I don't think Venus thought that was coming.
Buskagger unassisted, his first of the game, and it is his 6th of the season. Panthers now lead 7-0 with 30 seconds to go in the second period. Controlling the puck is John McKenzie. Back this time to Logan Leatherberry on the far side of the Panther zone. High off the glass to get it out into neutral ice, and McKenzie pushes it forward into the Stoughton zone. 14 seconds to go. McKenzie behind the net, drops it in front. Yachman not able to get a shot off. He sends toward the net, but nothing but Vikings there. Shot blocked by McKenzie. 5 seconds to go. McKenzie will just hold it at the point, drop it down low, and that is how this second period will end. And Dan, until that final goal from Buskagger, only 2 goals in the period, and they were both power play goals. I really thought Venus had a good, fantastic period, but then we saw that injury. He was a little slow to react to the Buskagger shot. I hope he's not impaired, but you maybe heard that a little bit on your microphones there. He's a little fiery coming off, and you can understand why.
Absolutely. He's played a great game. And again, I want to be clear. I think Stoughton has played a really solid game. You hate to see a team with such a short bench in a game of this magnitude, but the score is 7-0. What, we got 3 power play goals? That leaves it 4-0 without those. I can't say that it's been because of a huge breakdown. Stoughton was the underdog coming in, but they have really played a solid game. They just haven't been able to generate the kind of scoring chances they need.
We'll see what can happen in the third period. Right now, it's Oregon 7, Stoughton nothing. But folks, award-winning productions like this are made possible with support from our local business sponsors and by viewers like you. Those sponsors include the Village of Oregon, a great place to live, work, and play. The Oregon School District, actively building competency, character, culture, and community. The Oregon Athletic Booster Club, doing great things for all Panther sports. Your membership dues directly support our student athletes. Consider becoming a booster today. Oregon Area Cares Community Coalition. Parenting teens is hard. We're here to help. OregonAreaCares.org. Wisco Industries, proud supporter of Panther sports, celebrating our 75th anniversary in 2024. Culvers of Oregon, Stoughton Health, and your local pizza pit. So that'll do it for the second period. We're going to head to intermission and be back with the third. Stay tuned to the WIAA Regional Boys Hockey Playoffs, the Oregon Panthers against the Stoughton Vikings here on OCA Media.
Hi, Mom.
Welcome back, everyone. Zach Seeloff, Dan Graychuk with you here on OCAmedia.com's presentation of the Oregon Panthers against the Stoughton Vikings in the WIAA Regional Playoffs. The Panthers have a 7-0 lead as we get ready for the third and final period. And Dan, as the sound of Timmy Trumpet's Narcos blasts through the stadium.
Are you like a walking DJ? Literally every song that's played, you've been mentioning the artist.
I mean, the first two are both Metallica, in effect. And this is the walk-up music for one of the Mets relievers. But anyway, leaving that trivia aside, if you're Stoughton here, right, we saw as they came off obvious frustration, and it's understandable. Their goalie, Nate Venus, has played incredibly well, but it does look like he might have sustained an injury. And that second-to-last goal, the final goal of the second period, might reflect, a little reduced mobility or whatever. If you're Stoughton, what do you want to do in this third and final period? What are you hoping to get out of it, as you said, the final period of hockey for some of these senior players?
Yeah, unless they're able to put together a beyond amazing third period, it will be the last period. I think what they really need to do is win a shift, get some battles, and generate some scoring chances. They are coming. They're kind of hit and miss. There have been almost no rebound attempts. There really hasn't been any traffic in front of McAlpine. They've got to find ways to generate that and try and get a goal. That's got to be what their main focus right now is, to get a goal.
No penalties in that first period, 6 penalties in the second period, 3 against each team. Stoughton 0 for 3 on the power play, Panthers 2 for 3 on the power play. Not the difference in the game. Panthers had plenty of scoring in the first, but you have to capitalize on those opportunities when you get them. And Stoughton, I think, even by the middle of the second period when those penalties started to come, just didn't have quite enough in the tank to out-hustle Oregon.
Yeah, fatigue becomes a huge factor, and that's, I think, why their power play just was not able to get up off the ground. The other side of that, though, is McAlpine really hasn't had to deal with a lot of high percentage scoring chances, which means if Stoughton can generate some, it's going to make it difficult for him to feel as engaged in the game as Venus is, because he's definitely dialed in. 7 goals, I don't want to put them all on him. I think there's probably 2 of those he'd like back, but I think he's the more dialed-in goaltender right now.
I looked and unfortunately can't find any information on the score between Waupun and Monona Grove. That is the contest that will determine who it seems likely Oregon will play in their next round. If you're Oregon, though, you're leading 7-0. You've obviously got a comfortable lead here as we get the face-off. What do you want to take away from this third period? How do you set yourself up for success in the next game, which will come on Tuesday the 20th?
Discipline. They've got to find ways to make sure they don't take any bad penalties. Get everybody involved. Obviously, I'm thinking a lot of guys want to see Jakey get the hat trick, but they've got to find ways to keep everybody involved and play as a unit.
Panthers won the faceoff, and they control the puck in the Stoughton zone. Feed down to Jakey beneath the net. Jakey wraps it around, and there is the hat trick. Dan with the magic touch just 28 seconds in as the clock continues to run. It's 8-0 Panthers as Andrew Jakey buries his third.
Yeah, that is a great comeback for him in this game after the injury. He's obviously played incredibly well. If you're Stoughton, that's one you didn't want to give up, but it was just too much pressure quick in the beginning of that period.
Panthers now lead 8-0 with 16:25 to go. Unassisted goal for Jakey. All 3 of his have been unassisted so far tonight. Yet one more hat trick for the record books for the extremely talented Andrew Jakey. Easton Lindert feeds it through traffic to Isaac Rotier. The Vikings in their own zone put it behind the net. Rotier back to Lindert. His shot from a low angle is scored. And what a pass from Rotier to backhand it. And then what a low angle top shelf killer from Easton Lindert, his 4th point of the night.
Yeah, and if I feel so bad for Venus right now because he wasn't even looking that direction, because that is such a low percentage pass to come out. That was just a weird breakdown of the puck. And again, this is where this Panther team can really hurt you, is they find a number of ways to generate scoring chances.
Rotier feeds Lindert. Lindert with his 2nd goal of the night. He also has 2 assists. Rotier has 2 assists on the night. And as you said, the score sheet filled with different Panthers here. Lots of scoring up and down the lineup card. 15:40 to go in the game. It's 9-0 Oregon. We are at a running clock, so we will keep it moving. through this third and final period. Trey Zurowick feeds it forward as the Panthers move ahead. Into center ice that time, it's Dawson Peterson. He lofts the high one in, and he'll go for a change. We'll get some new skaters for the Panthers. Here into center, quick shot and just wide off the stick of Ethan Dish. Panthers had a look at a 10th goal there. Vikings up into neutral territory. George Karasek retreats for Oregon to pick it up. Angled pass forward and finds McKenzie. Lead-in pass is a bit too strong, and it ends up on the stick of Comstock for Stoughton. Panthers come together with one another, but now they're able to get it. It's McKenzie. Loose puck picked up by Stoughton. Backhanded out, play by Karasek with the hand. Puck on the blue line. Referee signals no offsides, and the Panthers control. Dish trying to get after that puck. Taps it back towards McKenzie. Hustling along, trying to get on the far side is Paxton Nelson of Stoughton. Held at the point by Canute Lee. We haven't seen much of Lee tonight, but he's getting some action here late on the defensive end. 14:29 to go in the game. Shot from Karasek and read cleanly by Venus. Blocks it with the blocker, and that is an offsides for Oregon. Let that one come out just a little bit too far. We'll get a neutralized faceoff.
Yeah, right now you can really see frustration and fatigue setting in. I mean, honestly, the score doesn't really dictate just how good of a game this has been. We found out there were 50 to 60 some odd people watching, which we're glad to see. I know there's a little Gollum from Canada watching as well. I think he met Lily. So again, it's been a great game.
Vikings had a chance at a 2-on-1 rush there, broken up nicely by Leatherberry of Oregon. And the Panthers turn it the other direction. It's Tauschik coming up the left wing side. Working through center ice, now feeds across. Desmond Kingsley, a shot, blocker save. That blocker has been very active for Venus. He's used it to good effect. Coming the other way with a 2-on-2 now. Colton Vincent rifles it into the corner as they try and get an offensive shot. Low angle shot. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe he put that on target. Ian Westerberg looked like he was beneath the net. Somehow fires it at McAlpine. All McAlpine-Dugan frees that one down.
Yeah, and that's actually a tricky save to make because it's a very low percentage scoring area. But the way it just kind of bounced up and in, and he's even joking with the ref there a little bit, how difficult that was.
13:08 to play in this game. Panthers lead 9-0. We're at a running clock, and the Panthers are offsides there. Getting in just a little bit early was McKenzie. And so we'll take another face-off. 12:56 and counting to go. A hat trick for Andrew Jakey, but scoring up and down the roster card for these Panthers today. They're looking good as they look to head on to the sectional playoffs. Face-off, controlled by Oregon. Buskagger fires one in, ends up behind the net. Paxton Nelson for the Vikings, tries to turn around the other direction. Puck is slapped off his tape, and behind the net it's Mason Anderson of Oregon. Buskagger winding a drive, a save, and a good clearing attempt by Nelson. Can't get it past Leatherberry though, and here's Jakey. Cross ice, Buskagger again, a rifle of a shot right into the catching mitt of Nate Venus.
And then it looks like Venus had a couple words for Jakey as he kind of skated by. I don't know what exactly about, but another good, solid save. Do you know, is he sophomore, junior?
I don't actually know. I apologize. I don't have that on my roster sheet. We can look it up here in just a second as the faceoff is won by the Panthers. Shot goes wide of the net. 11:50 and counting to play. Backhand attempt is scored. And as I look down there, I believe that's Logan Leatherberry. No, I'm sorry, it's Easton Lindard. Easton Lindard now has tallied a hat trick. 5 points on the night for him. And with 11:46 to go, the Panthers enter double digits. They're up 10-0.
Yeah, and again, these scrums that are happening down deep, it's really tough for Stoughton to find a way to defend against that. And Venus is really doing everything he can to move, but he's really getting bogged down with way too many shots up close.
Isaac Rotier and Dawson Peterson, and there's a quick score from Lindard again. Oh my goodness, now Lindard just 13 seconds later, he's got a fourth goal. It's 11-0 Oregon.
Yeah, right now it's definitely starting to just kind of collapse for Stoughton. They've really poured their heart out in this game, done everything they could to keep this going. But right now I think it's really fatigue being the biggest factor.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do in a game like this. Dawson Peterson with the assist on that one. Linder with his 4th goal of the night. 6 points so far tonight. Up to the point for the Panthers and getting his first game action is Ashton Wolf. His shot rises high over the crossbar. Panthers behind the net, little contact there, and the Vikings pick up the puck. High off the glass for Westerberg of Stoughton. Cross ice for Vincent off his skate, and with 11:04 to go, they'll pick it up and join on the left wing side. That's going to be offsides as a big collision comes across the blue line. Face off at neutral ice.
Yeah, you just feel for all the kids coming off for Stoughton right now because you can just see it in their face. They're absolutely exhausted. They wanted to come out and put together a little bit better of an effort. They were not looking for a game like this. They have played incredibly well, but fatigue is probably going to be one of the bigger tolls in this game.
Panthers push the puck all the way down into the Vikings zone. No icing the call, and the Vikings will pick it up there. Oregon trying to hold it. Instead, it comes out into neutral ice with 10:20 to play in this third and final period. 11-0 Panthers here at the Oregon Ice Arena in the WIAA Regional Playoffs. Panthers get it, try to turn it around. Nothing doing there. Backhanded in by Jack Klund. Vikings along the far wall. Still not able to get it working. Try and tap it forward, and now they've got a little bit of a step. Moving ahead is Miles Wenke. Dumps that one in. Looks to set up something on offense. Panthers pick up the puck through center ice. Fancy footwork by Owen Tauschik as he chases into the corner, but it's not clear by the Vikings. Nice little one-touch tap by Stoughton, but they're not able to pursue past Klund. Leave for Jakey, and here's Andrew Jakey along with Mason Anderson. Jakey right to the front of the net. His shot is high and into the safety netting. Too tall. With 9:30 to go, we'll get another face-off.
Yeah, Oregon right now I think is going to pull back just a bit. And it's one of those things where I think people don't always understand. You don't want to just stop taking shots. You don't want to try and generate offense because that actually hurts a little bit more when you're on that other team. But I don't think we're going to see the same kind of real pretty plays. I think they're going to try and get it in, move it around, take some shots, and look for it to come the other way.
Venus just a sophomore looking at it now. Here's Oregon with a chance and a score. Mason Anderson finds his way down low, backhands it into the near side, and it's 12-0 Panthers with 8:56 to go.
Yeah, again, it's these plays that they're coming in deep, and defense is just gassed. Venus is obviously exhausted as well. I wish we had a shot counter because there would probably be 40-plus shots on him at least. Easily. And he stood tall and just played a great game. But the truth is, the Panthers have all the energy. They're a very skilled team, and they're finding just ways to get that puck into the areas where they're able to generate scoring.
Ethan Dish with the assist on that, and the Mason Anderson goal. Jakey puts the puck across, but here come the Vikings. It's Westerberg. He's got Vincent with him in a 2-on-2. Westerberg has it poked away. Nice defense by Trey Zerowick. We've been talking about him tonight. Not a guy who gets the most playing time, but he's made use of it so far this evening. McAlpine nearly loses track of that one behind his pad, but saves it with the stick.
That's one of those things where, again, when you're not seeing a lot of pucks, you can have those kind of things happen because that easily could have trickled in.
Panthers at the point lose the puck. Here come the Vikings as they've got a shot with Reese Nissus. Nissus pushed to the ground from behind. Hand is up for a delayed penalty. This one's going to go against Oregon, and they're going to call it holding. And I don't know what happened there at the end between Jakey and Nissus. Something is said, but both players separate, and so holding the call against Trey Zerowick. And it'll be a 2-minute power play for the Stoughton Vikings with 8:02 to go in this game.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. They're not doing running clock for the whole time. They're stopping it for certain things. So I don't know what the rules are, but since I'm trying to work a clock on the broadcast, it's a little tricky.
Apologies for the clock, folks. We are doing our best, but it will be a minute 52 of a power play for Stoughton. 7:52 in the game as they come up with some speed in the person of Cam Lubke, the captain, to the right wing side. Oregon able to grab the loose puck and send it all the way back down. Comstock, oh my goodness. Comstock tried to send it off the back, hit the net, but thankfully no own goal. Panthers gather it deep in their own zone. Leatherberry's got it. Minute 27 on the power play, 7:27 to go in the game. Panthers leading 12-0. Nice touch there out of midair that time by Easton Linder. He puts a little pressure on to keep the Stoughton Vikings honest. On the power play, Comstock's pass is intercepted by Linder. Tries to turn it around. Comstock taps it into the Oregon zone with 7:09 to go in the game. Panthers control defensively. Even minute to go on the power play as the Panthers look to kill this one off and maintain their shutout 12-0. Nice little tap to get it all the way down. There it's taken by Aiden Comstock of the Vikings. His backhanded pass is no good. Yachman pushes it into the zone. Now a chance to move forward is Colton Vincent. Left wing, shot, blocked by Logan Leatherberry. When he puts those legs together, it is a wall. Extremely hard to get by. Coming forward is Oregon shorthanded. It's Ethan Dish trying to grab a goal of his own. Vikings get it past him, and here's Vincent. Vincent, nice move around traffic. Comes right down the middle. Now over to the left wing side, top of the circle. His shot deflected high into the safety netting. We'll take a face-off. 17 seconds to go on the power play. 6:17 to go in the game. 12-0 Oregon. Here in the WIAA Regional Playoffs, the winner will play Waupun or Monona Grove.
Were you able to find out what the score of that game was?
No, search as I might, I haven't been able to find any scoring info. That game did start 30 minutes before ours, so it's possible it's already finished, but I have not been able to find any info out on the social media feeds. Face-off won by the Vikings, and we are now even strength as re-entering the picture is Trey Zerowick. Zerowick comes over. His teammates wanted him to go after the puck. I think it was wise that he elected to let it just go through center ice.
Yeah.
5:42 and counting in the game.
You know, sometimes people think that just because goalies stand an awful lot of the game, that they have a lot of energy. The smart play there was for them not to come out and get that puck. Take your time because you don't want to get caught in no man's land.
5:28 to go. Vikings win the faceoff in their own zone. Westerberg trying to move it around that near side. Swing and a miss that time by Jake Jolseth, who wanted to rim it to the far side. Now he'll put it up the near side for Westerberg once more. Has to chase it back into his own zone after it bangs off a couple of skates and sticks. Angled pass and finds Jolseth. Just out of his reach, though, and the Panthers are able to send it back into the Viking zone. 5 minutes even to play. 12-0 Oregon here. 2 hat tricks, Easton Lindert and Andrew Jakey, each tallying 3. In fact, Lindert has 4 tonight. The Panthers with a total of 12, looking to move on to the next round of the playoffs. Too many skaters. We have a bench minor coming up this time. And it's going to go against Oregon for too many skaters. So another power play opportunity for Stoughton late in this game. 4:42 to go, and they'll have the skater advantage.
Yeah, I think it was kind of obvious it wasn't against Stoughton because I don't think they could actually. I mean, 6 players. People have to realize that's not even 2 full lines. A lot of times you're going to run with 3, maybe 4 lines if you have a full bench. You're running essentially 2 full lines, maybe 2 additional forwards in there. This has been an incredibly impressive performance just on the fact that they have not passed out yet.
Yeah, for those of you who don't play hockey, it's difficult to emphasize just how much work these young men from Stoughton are having to do tonight. Only 12 skaters on the bench, only 1 goalie on the bench. This has been quite a performance on their part considering all the skating they have had to do. They try and get a shot in there. It goes a little bit wide, but they still control the puck. Rifle it towards the back door, and a nice interception by Buskogger, who in turn slaps it all the way down the ice. Good setup that time from Stoughton. They had a good look. Rice Nissus, though, not able to get it through traffic, and Buskogger sends it down. Minute 29 to go on the power play, 4:09 to go in the game. Cross ice pass towards Nissus again. Up the wall trying to find Heineke. Tap back, and Nissus in center ice. Back on sides, and here he goes on the right wing side to the faceoff dot. Got a look, a shot, and a save for Nate McAlpine.
Yeah, and again, if he's able to see that, he's going to stop that probably 98 times out of 100. Stoughton really didn't get the chance to get some traffic in front because the one thing Oregon has done a really good job with, taking away time and space. And that's really limited the ability for Stoughton to take away the eye line of McAlpine.
Colton Vincent in the faceoff dot wins it for the Vikings. Up to the point for Lupke. Lupke, a high lofting shot, and it's just over the crossbar. Loose puck is picked up by Easton Lindert. He's got some speed through center ice. Pushes across the blue line. He's past traffic, and diving on top is Nate Venus, who gets the stop. Venus coming out of the crease aggressively to go after that one.
Yeah, he looks absolutely gassed, which is totally understandable. But he had to jump out and stop that somehow.
20 seconds on the power play. 3:02 in the game. 12-0 Panthers as they win the faceoff in the Stoughton zone. They'll take it out into center ice. It's George Karasek. Just 10 seconds to go on the penalty kill for these Panthers. Cross ice pass. They find Lindert on the entry. He's got Rotier. Lindert around one man, down to the faceoff dot. Backhands down low. Penalty expires. Both teams are full strength with 2:40 to play in the game. The Panthers will advance. They will face either Waupun or Monona Grove in the next round of the WIAA Division II hockey playoffs. Coming across is Westerberg. Loses control of the puck. There's Rotier. Backhand forward finds Lindert. Lindert able to find his target of Dawson Peterson. Peterson through traffic. Pad save from Nihas. Here's Karasek. Nothing there. Peterson in the corner. 2:13 to play. Karasek again at the point. Peterson fighting for it in the corner. Nice job, able to get it back to Lindert. Easton Lindert in the corner now. All the way up the point, and he finds Ashton Wolf. Lindert there once more. Rotier. And the Vikings now trying to get something moving. Here comes Colton Vincent. He's shadowed by almost the entire Panther team. Vincent stops up and looks for a play. Feed into center. Quick shot attempt goes a little bit wide off the stick of Miles Weinke. Rotier. Lindert and ahead to Dawson. Vikings with just a little bit left to play. Minute 26 to go. They trail 12-0. Losing control of the puck and striding after it is Yakman, but turning around on it is Cam Lupke. Vikings into the Panther zone. Oregon controls there. Lofted pass, trying to connect that time with Ethan Dish. Broken up in center ice, and the Vikings have it. Errant pass will come this time to Trey Zurowick. Minute 5 to go in this game. Zurowick behind his own net. Finds the connection. Here's Dish. Dish with a one-on-one as he works to the outside. Can't drag around his man. Vikings try and turn it around, but Yakman has it. Top of the circle, a great save from Nate Venus of Stoughton. Up at the point, Trey Zurowick. His shot is well wide and ends up behind the cage. 40 seconds to play. Zurowick at that blue line. We saw him do it earlier in the game. He does it once more. Yakman to Zurowick. Gathers and puts it across. Top of the circle. There's a look and there's a pad save. Venus looking great against Jack Klun on that one. Klun picks it back up in his own defensive zone across to Zurowick with 23 seconds to play. Dish picks up the loose puck. Yakman taps it in off the glove of one of the Stoughton players, and Venus will freeze it down with 14 seconds to go. That may end the game before we get another faceoff.
Yeah, and I think Oregon wanted a penalty for a slash. Stick got knocked out of the hand, but I think at this point in the game, they're just going to let it run.
Yep. 2 seconds, 1 second, and there is the first step for Oregon and their hopes to return to the state championship. They defeat the Stoughton Vikings 12-0 here in the WIAA Regional Tournament. And Dan, we talked about what each team needed to do. In the first period, it felt like Stoughton was able to do it for a certain amount of time. Same in the second period, very much in the second period, in fact. But what we had talked about at the start was that the third period was going to be the hardest. They just had too much skating to do.
Yeah, they really did. We knew fatigue was going to be part of this, and we talked about that second and third period, having enough gas in the tank, and they just didn't have it, and understandably so. They played hard. They skated whistle to whistle. They never gave up, but that's just going to drain you. And as far as Oregon, they did exactly what they wanted to come out here and do, and they definitely came out and made a statement.
Absolutely. 12-0 for Oregon, the final score. Easton Lindert with 4 goals, Andrew Jakey with 3. Number of other players get onto the score sheet, both with goals and assists. So, Dan, just before we get going here, 1 star from each team. Who do you like?
Oh, you know who I'm picking for Stoughton. It's going to be Venus. He had to make a gut game. He showed how much heart he had. He obviously was frustrated at some points, which I can understand. But he stood in front of every puck, and it didn't matter whether it was 10-0 or 11-0. Every shot that came in, he treated as if it was the most important save he had to make. On the other side, I got to go with Buskogger. There are a couple really easy picks I could make, but we didn't speak his name much, which is exactly what you want to see from a defensive player. He made a lot of smart plays and disciplined plays. There were some areas where I think he could have retaliated when maybe caught an extra stick or a little harder of a hit. He didn't. He skated off. Got to go to Buskogga.
Well done. For my part, I'm going to choose Ian Westerberg for the Stoughton Vikings. He has got a lot of speed and a lot of skill moving that puck up and down the ice. When they had offensive chances, as often as not, it was Westerberg that was either creating them or benefiting from them. I thought he really played well for Stoughton. For the Panthers, I'm going to go with Trey Zerwick. Like you said, obviously we could talk about Easton Lindert, Andrew Jakey, different players that had a lot of impact on the score sheet. Zerwick, a guy that we don't see playing for them quite as much, got a little more playing time here, and boy, as a defensive player, looked very solid, but as an offensive defender, guarding that blue line, taking some shots from the point, distributing the puck, I thought he looked really sharp up at that left defensive position.
He really did, and considering we both went with defenders, that speaks a lot for Oregon. And quite honestly, Westerberg would have been my second choice had you jumped in ahead of me and taken Venus, because I figured one of us would.
Oh, yeah.
But no, the defensive core for Oregon is probably the best we've seen it since going back to the days of Hefty. We're starting to see those shots from the blue line, which we talked about in seasons past that they didn't have. They have it this year, and I'm really looking forward to their next game against either Monona Grove or Waupun.
Folks, thanks so much for watching this broadcast of OCA Media, your home for Panther Sports. For our camera operator, Jordan, our executive director, Paul Zwicker, and my partner, Dan Graychuk, my name is Zach Seeloff saying so long, take care of yourselves, and take care of somebody else. We will see you back here Tuesday the 20th as the Panthers continue against either Waupun or Monona Grove and attempt to get back to the state championship. Good night, everybody.